Boris Johnson's right-hand man, at his side as the key decisions of the pandemic were made. And he admits there were glaring holes.
The machine was not properly prepared for the scale of the crisis it was about to face.
Martin Reynolds, sitting here with Boris Johnson, shot to public attention during the Partygate scandal because of this email inviting dozens of Downing Street staff to gather in the garden and bring their own booze. Today, an apology.
I think I would first like to say how deeply sorry I am for my part in those events and for the email message which went out that day. And I'd like to apologise unreservedly to the families of all those who suffered during COVID.
Today's evidence to the inquiry paints a picture of dysfunction and personality clashes at the top of government. And then there's the question of how lockdown decisions were made, with advisers accused of using secretive WhatsApp groups to make the critical calls. Mr. Reynolds was on a WhatsApp group with Boris Johnson and a small group of the most senior aides. He was asked why, just weeks before this public inquiry was announced, he decided to turn on disappearing mode so the messages would vanish after 7 days.
I don't believe it was intended to prevent the inquiry from having sight of this. It could, for example, have been because I was worried of someone screenshotting or using some of the exchanges and leaking them.
Some newly released messages and diary entries give a sense of the turmoil. Top civil servant Simon Case said the government looked like a tragic joke and Boris Johnson cannot lead. Patrick Vallance, the chief scientific advisor, called the Prime Minister completely inconsistent. Tonight, families of those bereaved by COVID held a vigil at Barnard Castle, the town notoriously visited by Dominic Cummings in defiance of lockdown rules. We'll hear from him tomorrow, and later this week, NHS leaders on the consequences of political decisions. Tamara Cohen, Sky News.